talking about breaking stereotypes that we're seeing in the mainstream media. So I like it when people think beyond what they've been told and the images that they've been kind of fed over the years through mainstream media. So to me, it's exciting when I hear somebody, is getting the emotion that I'm trying to portray with the models, or like really seeing the depth in the individuals that are being painted. I mean, I've always wanted to be an artist, like honestly, since as far back as I can remember, even like pre-K, kindergarten. So I think it was just a natural progression of knowing that this is what I wanted to do and what I meant to do. I think like the activism side of it kind of came up more once I got into college and I started to look and realize like, oh, I can take my art and I can use it to make commentary on these things that I feel so passionately about and that I'm not seeing representation in. So, but I think I've always wanted to do art. I think my style is very classical, so I do more of like traditional techniques, but I've heard a lot of people say that they also get sort of like a magic realism sort of vibe from it or something, where it's almost in some ways dipping into sort of this surreal background and landscape. And I think with my newer pieces where the figure's sort of breaking away into the atmosphere, where there's all this interesting stuff happening in the background, I definitely see myself going more into that territory too. But I do like the look of like keeping some traditional aspect to it and keeping that realism too. I think the inspiration comes obviously from the models and having that experience working directly with them. But also before that, when I'm thinking about the concept, I'm thinking about personal experiences, about my life and my family and just kind of like things that are going on in the media at the time. So thinking about I guess personal, and then sort of like being inspired by what a model brings to that vision that I have for the project. Well, I can think of one piece in particular at the Met. It was like my first or second time going to New York City on my own, and it was my first time at the Met. And I remember I passed this piece by, I believe the artist's name was Jerome, and it was just like, it was a painting of a man, and he had like a headdress, and just like seeing a black figure depicted in that way and not as like a slave or as a servant or anything, that was a really big deal for me because I had never seen a painting like that, and definitely not in person. So I remember I came back the next day and I like visited it again and sketched from it and everything. So I think that one was definitely a turning point for me. I think when I was younger and I learned a new material, I was always so hard on myself, and I still kind of am that way, where it's just like, oh, how long do I have to be bad at a thing? But I remember when I was learning colored pencils, I started doing the first couple drawings, and I was just, to me, it wasn't where I wanted to be. I was terrible at it. And I literally told myself that like, I have to be bad at it for a certain period of time before I can be good. But then once you start doing it long enough, you're like, oh yeah, I got the hang of it. But I think I'm my own like hardest critic, so it never feels like I fully have the hang of anything. So there's always room for improvement.